Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 169. Today, Xbox has announced their next gen deal with AMD. Marathon might be taking Bungie down and not in the sexy way. And Donkey Kong is getting his own direct in the next 24 hours. I am sitting in the 6th position, sitting in the 9 position. My homie, Jake Twitchin. How you doing?
I'm doing so well. I'm glad to be here with the Dirty Dogs.
Look at, can you believe it? And sitting in the 1 position, watching me and Jake make love, GWT Maury. Maury, how you doing?
Cuck chair is my favorite place to be in, motherfucker. You have no idea what gift you've given me. I'm good, man. I'm excited to be here on another episode of Spotlight Games, episode 169. Fuck, I'm ready.
I can't believe it was only 168 episodes ago that we started this little podcast, and here we are. And I'm back. For the long haul. Y'all are stuck with me.
Let's go.
I had my little clicker bait fuck arounds, having a great time with Jarek and Kayla over at Clicker Bait. But Tuesdays are my night again, so y'all better get fucking ready. But what a joyous! It's been like a couple months now that y'all have been holding down Spotlight. So my formal thanks to you both in front of everyone watching and listening for holding it down.
We've been burning it to the ground. Yeah.
Sure. We got gamers in the chat. We got coal mines. We got Yuhula. We got heroic headgear. Thanks for being here, y'all. We got Cirrus Shard. I'm just so excited to be back talking about gaming news. In fact, we have a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time right here on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod, just like all of those beautiful people are that I just said. And finally, what are you guys saying? What are you mouthing over there?
I put my own twist on that intro, and I kind of like it.
I want you to know that I'm going to say something further. I love it. I love it so much that in the midst of me having a stroke last week trying to get through the intro, I still managed to remember Jake's little he does ad libs for the intro. Get ready. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's now.
On twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod.
That's here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like the ad libs too. They eat down. Yeah. But Patrick, it's your fucking show. All right.
Sure.
Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like I've been naughty.
No. I'm not looking at you like anything. I just mostly the boy still got it. That wasn't on script. That was me just top of the fucking dome.
Wow.
Which we love to see. But I welcome the ad libs. I would love for you to jump in and say, "That's now." Or that's heel.
How did you get my fucking voice so good? I gotta be honest. I'm looking at both of you guys like a piece of fucking meat right now, and I'm a hungry little guy that needs some. Episode 169. It's feeling right.
It's feeling right. It's feeling raw. It's feeling rough. It's feeling ready.
It's feeling girthy.
That doesn't start with an R, but I do accept it.
Sure.
Also, for those of us that are in the chat now, I do recognize all these names, and they do all participate in our Discord. But if you're watching this later, if you're listening to this later, if you just somehow got a message into your brain, you're not even listening to a podcast, but you hear my words, go to dropindropoutpod.com. Join the Discord. We have a fun Discord for all walks of life in the Dido family. We got JK Games, we got Spotlight Games, we got Clickerbait, we got Maury, we got Jake, we got Cognitive Kips, and we have our sweet Dumpster Boy. All of the things that we're doing live in the Discord with our lovely community of gamers. So join that Discord, have some fun with us, and then you're going to know when we're doing other things around the world, like this Thursday. Myself and Jake Twitchin going to have a big old conversation about Mario Kart World. We've had it for a couple weeks now, and I have notes. I am here to say I have notes, and there are things that I wish that they would add and change to Mario Kart World. And I'm sad to say it is not my current game of the year, but we're going to talk about it on Thursday. Twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod. But that's not what this is. This is Spotlight Games, and I'm back. You're back. I'm looking at your back. There's backshot air happening. And
no.
we're starting how we always start Spotlight games which is Wishawa, what we've been playing. Maury, what have you been playing, big dog?
Dude, I've been getting, I'll say this, Elden Ring Night Rain has been catching a whiff of my backshot air. That game's been fucking me, brother. But guess what? Today we got the platinum trophy. It's been obtained. We're done. I'm going to delete it off the console and I'm never going to touch it again. When I get a platinum trophy, it means that for a week I played 6-hour days. Did I do that this week? No, but I put in enough time to be okay with walking away. Platinum Night Rain, went and played a little bit of Rematch early, paid for the early access. Really loving that game. It's got really good bones. I don't know if it's going to be like the live service game that like takes up all my time. I don't think it will be, but like it's a great time by myself. I cannot imagine what a great time it would be with friends. Perhaps we might explore that venture in the future. And lastly, there's a game that released today. This developer, this studio is very beloved by the folks here at Drop In, Drop Out Pod. And that game is FBC Firebreak.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell everyone in the chat, that game fucking sucks. That game is fucking ass. I played for 2.5 hours a day, and it felt no different than what I'm going to do tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. when I clock into fucking work. That game is a fucking job, dude. That game sucks. That game's ass.
Can I ask you this,
please?
Maury? Because I played the beta with Coal Mines and Cognitive Clips.
Good man.
Today, did you play with anybody you know, or was it all randos?
Oh, they were all randoms. All random.
I do feel like you might sing a slightly different tune if you played with friends. Not a very different tune, a slightly different tune. I had a fine time. Mostly I just had fun goofing off with Coal Mines and Cog when I played, but it was like by the end of that like hour and a half that we played, it was like, oh wow, I can already see this game needs a lot of improvement. And in the beta, there was, I think, 2 or 3 game modes available. I think maybe just 2. I only remember 2. There might have been a third, but I think there's like 5 available or will be at launch.
It's 5 in the base game. I played all of them.
Yeah. Which of those 5, what did you like any of them more than the others, or did it all just feel equally boring to you?
Boring's not even the right word. It genuinely felt like work. Like,
wow. Okay.
Like I don't know what it is, but like, you have to destroy the little like balls of ice. And like the way you do that is by going and grabbing fire generators and throwing them down next to it and waiting for them to burn them down. Like it feels like a job. It feels like I was just asked to go clean the bathroom. It feels like I was just asked to wipe down the bar. I don't know what it is, but there's something about like the mechanic that is just completely unfun. And like the shooting mechanics are fine and the horde mechanics are fine, but it feels like that was just thrown on top of like my 40-hour-a-week job just to make me not hate it as much.
Yeah.
It feels like the incentive you get for showing up and going the extra mile where they give you food for you, a little couple dollars on the card to pay for the fucking meal that you just worked your ass off for. That's what it fucking feels like, Patrick. That's what the horde mode fucking feels like.
It's not good. That's not good, Maury.
It feels
you know what is good though?
What's good?
We're the hype train that we just had, thanks to Gianni resubscribing 6 months from the homie Gianni, Bama Bro giving some bits, Rabbit resubscribing and giving a bit, and he asks me if I can stare at the camera and say 5.
Don't
4.
Nope, that's monetized. Nope, that more than a bit.
Yep, more than a bit.
Damn it! You're right though.
Yeah.
Rabbit, we can do that off air.
The headline reads, Remedy continues their downward spiral of quality since Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
No.
No. I'm not hearing that. No.
I don't think so. We're not.
Quantum Break is one of the greatest games of the 2010s, and I won't listen to anyone tell me otherwise. I fucking love that game. I'm sorry.
Quantum Break is good.
It's great. It's not good. It's great. It's close to me. Patrick, you understand this from me. It feels the same way I feel about Deathloop.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
You picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm picking up something.
God.
Motherfucking Sean Astin fans. No, Sean Astin's somebody different. Sean Ash Moore.
There you go. You got it. You were there.
Yep.
You got there. You got there.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, Rabbit. Okay, Jake, what have you been playing?
Not much. No, I'm just kidding. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy Magic cards, and by playing I mean cracking packs. So if you're watching the video, you can see all this accoutrement behind me. Still in the Florida guest bedroom, but acquiring more belongings down here. I have 2 residences at this point, which has been consuming a lot of my time and money. But today I got my hands on a rematch for the first time.
Yeah, what you
Let me
think?
tell you, dude, I am so surprised that this game has me like this. I was a little bit of a bad boy. Shout out, of course, to Slow Clap and Kepler for hooking me up with not only a premium code for myself, but also 2 to give away to the community, which was very dope. And I was in that like creator program, and I wasn't taking it very seriously. I was like, all right, yeah, like they had offered me like an alpha tech test code. I was like, sure, I'll play that, and I didn't play it. And then like closed beta test codes, and I was like, oh, perfect. And then something else came out that weekend, and I didn't play it. And I was like, I'll just catch it when it comes out. And I was like, okay, that's a good offer. It's cool. I can play the game, and it'd be nice to give something back to the people that are watching me play it. I expected to do like an hour and a half, 2 hours of rematch last night. I played it for 6 hours on stream, and then ate some food, and then sat back down off stream and played 2 games before I went to sleep, and then woke up today, edited my rematch clips and put up my rematch VOD, and then streamed again impulsively so I could play another 2 hours of rematch before this very show. I'm so into it. I don't know why. It clicks for me.
Did you? I mean, I feel like you don't care about sports in general, right?
No.
This is true. Did you
I've
like
got a lot of like
League or like that kind of?
Yeah, I like Rocket League fine. Like I bought Rocket League when it costed money, like on launch. I think I paid like 20 or 30 bucks for it. I like games as a service in general. I don't typically stream them. I don't like really streaming competitive stuff outside of when it comes out and it's new. Like we play the new Call of Duty every year. We played some Halo Infinite when it came out. I've streamed Rocket League for like events and things like that, but it's not typically in my repertoire of like this is the season pass that I'm grinding right now, you know. And I usually do have something that's getting my time. I just got off that Star Wars Fortnite season. I don't like this Fortnite season, so I'm looking for my next thing for the next month or two, and it might be a rematch. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah,
it really feels that good.
I played the beta, and I had a great time with the beta, but I wondered if part of the reason I was having such a good time is I'm a soccer boy.
Ooh.
So it's really good to hear that you, not caring about sports at all, this game is clicking with you as much as it is, because that was kind of one of my biggest fears of like, this game has strong bones and this game could absolutely be something. But then I was like, I just don't know that people care about soccer enough, with the obvious realization that soccer is the biggest thing in the world. I mean, more so like in the States, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, this could be a fucking massive game.
I think so. I think the fact that it is 5-on-5 opens it up to people that are sometimes limited. There are a lot of games that demand a 3-stack these days, and not more and not less to really have like the perfect time. Whereas this game, you can do 3, 4, and then 5 is like arguably optimal. So for those bigger Discord groups of friends or friend groups that play online in any way, that might be a really good selling point. I think launching on Game Pass obviously gives it a huge advantage.
Yeah,
which is super smart. It comes out Thursday, and then having it available on all consoles. I'll say a slight misstep is, although confirmed for the future, there is no crossplay at launch, which is, that's a tough one to bite. I wonder what the development time would have looked like, or what the deal looked like with Kepler to hold that thing off 2 months and put all heads on getting this integrated there for, a strong community, because I'm probably not giving it like the fact that it's on Game Pass. This is probably not an accurate representation of what the experience will be on other consoles, but I found that I was having trouble finding like 5v5 ranked matches that do require you to have like 4 hours into the game and be at a certain level. And then also I'm playing on PlayStation, the place where it's not going to be free in 2 days. And the only way that you can actually play it is by buying the $50 version. So I think it's a very small sample size right now. When the game comes out on Thursday, if you're playing it on Xbox, I'm assuming you hit ranked play this weekend and you're good to go. But
see, I had the same problem on PlayStation. I started playing it early yesterday because that was what the version that I bought entailed for me. And I went to get into a 5v5 rank match. It took me 9 minutes.
Wow.
Dude, like I sat and I waited. And even like when I was trying to do the 5v5 quick play matches, I think I waited at 1.6 minutes to get in.
Yeah.
I think that like the early access is pretty like limited, and I don't think there's a lot of people in the early access. I'm hoping that changes. And Jake, because there's no crossplay, holy shit, dude, I need people to buy this fucking game on PlayStation. I need it.
Yeah,
I need
for
it.
sure.
So
I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think I was just gonna say the game does offer like some really wild shit in there too. Like I ended up making an absolute freako who doesn't wear any socks or shoes, so he's got the dogs out, absolutely booting this ball. And then I put him in basically a skin tight nude colored suit that matches his skin perfectly. So he just pretty much looks like a naked man or a man wearing like nude colored shorts, and he's bald, not a hair on his body. It's perverse.
Yeah,
Wow.
it sounds perverse. I'm super interested to see because the game is so arcadey, but it still relies on like the base game of soccer, obviously. I wonder if you get a 5 stack of like very smart soccer players, if they can just destroy or if they've built it in a way. Have you already experienced that so far?
The answer is so yes. Like it is a game that like the more that I play it, the more that I understand how this game is supposed to be operated. You need to like rotate positions as people move. You need to be on your man to intercept those passes. It is important to know that it's not a one-man show. And I get it, like again, the same small sample size, like it's day 0 with this game, and it's only the people that paid up, and I'm playing it in the first few hours of its availability. A lot of ball hogs, a lot of people that are just like they get the ball and it's like time to do my sweet tricks and lob it into the air to myself and then try to kick it into the goal and be the hero. When if you can get a team that has a little bit of coordination that is going like you cross it over left crosses it over to the center, and then center boots it into the goal with a little spin on it to the left, you're going to do so much better than it is for, so and so to just run it up the field.
Let me just say this right now, Jake, thank God you mentioned it. Fuck these motherfuckers at day 1 are greedy. My God, they're greedy. Patrick, they're greedy. I was tug. No, I'm kidding. But they were greedy as shit, dude. I ended up cussing one dude out so bad he told me to hang myself. Like,
wow.
Exact words. Like, bro was pissed. I was cooking his shit. So,
I've had 2 voice interactions on the game so far. One of them was at the end of one game. I was so frustrated. I just unmuted my like PlayStation controller mic and said, "Bad job." And nobody else had said anything the entire game. And then this dude comes on mic and he goes, "I know that's not you talking, Jay." It wasn't a great job by me either.
That's so funny.
The first, I think the second game that I played, again, no talking until the end, and then someone scores this goal, and this guy goes, "Nice goal," and this other dude goes, "Nice pass," and I just don't skip a beat. I'm like, "Nice cock." It's a very good clip.
Good, very good, very good. Well, I'm excited to play some rematch. There have been some rumblings that maybe we do a little late night rematch stream, perhaps. So
when
if you follow Dido on Twitch, maybe you'll have a surprise notification, perhaps.
Surprise tonight?
Maybe tonight, maybe
Surprise
tomorrow.
to you, perhaps. Who knows?
Maybe at some point in the next 48 hours.
That's a good selling. That's a good selling point. That's a good selling point.
Coal Mine's very good in the chat, says a messy pod. Very good.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Very good. A couple games I've been playing, because I've not been on the show to talk about what I've been playing for months, so I won't go through all the games I've been playing, but lately I am fucking pilled, Jake, on Fantasy Life. The girl who steals time. I'm at almost 30 hours.
Oh, wow.
I am deep in this game. I am like some of my life choices of like if I'm the fisher or the woodcutter, some of those I'm at like level 40. I'm like getting high up in the rankings of that shit. It's just like such a good go do this thing game, and I've barely scratched the surface of the Animal Crossing side of it, and that's like a lot of people really like this game supposedly for its like Animal Crossing-esque kind of simulator, and I've like barely touched that. And so I'm like, once I can actually start getting into that, I mean, this game could take 150 hours easy from me. This game, it's so fucking good. I'm playing on Switch 2, but I'm assuming it plays well everywhere, but it's like butter on the Switch too. It seems like the game that would benefit most from being handheld in some degree. So like if you have a PlayStation Portal, maybe a PlayStation would be a good place to play it. I definitely don't think I would be putting as much time into it if I only ever got to play on the TV. But yeah, I'm
Saw
having
that.
such a good time with it. Jake, you were hot on that too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm for exactly what you're describing. I'm not playing as much as I so desire, and maybe it will be something where there's cross save and like a sale. It would feel stupid to do it. I was just so excited to. They did a kind of a weird job of like, I was like, oh, I don't want to buy it on like the original Switch. I don't feel like that's the thing.
Sure.
And then they launched it on that and PS5, and then like 4 days after launching it, they're like, by the way, coming to Switch too, and it's $2 to upgrade. I was like, well, fuck, man. Now I'm 6
Yeah.
hours into this game on PS5 right now, and I don't have a PlayStation Portal. So I'm playing it, from time to time, but still trying to find the right times for it. And I do feel like if I had a Portal on my bedside, or if it was on my Switch too, and I could play it either or, I think I would probably have more time into it. But yeah. I am still hot on it too.
Yeah, I was obsessed with that game until Maury. I booted up for the third or fourth time in my life. Death Stranding on the PlayStation 5.
Oh my God.
Maury, it's finally clicking for me. Yo, this game is fucking so good.
Dude.
Where have been the people talking about fucking Death Stranding before today? Am I the first person to love Death Stranding on a podcast, Maury?
I think so.
That's bullshit, and you know it. But my fucking God, Patrick, you're playing Death. How much time have you put in the last
I'm
week?
in episode 3. I started maybe like 3 weeks ago, and I only put in like 15 or 20 minutes then, and I got to like, so I played it back in the day when it first launched, and I think I might have finished it then, but I was like so bored the whole time. It's not that I was bored, but it was like, this game is just not clicking for me, but I want to finish it to finish it. That's when I actually would finish video games. And I've tried it a couple times since then, since the director's cut came out, but it's just like I've never been able to get past the first like 30 to 45 minutes.
I get it.
And this time, finally, I don't know what, I don't even think it's like performance, because, it's definitely, I can notice an upgrade on the PS5 with the director's cut version compared to how I originally played it on PS4. But I don't know what it is, but for some reason, it's just like totally clicking this time. I still kind of don't understand like half of what's going on, but just the act of going from a place to another place, connecting, getting them on the chiral network, Maury.
Yes.
I'm just having such a good time of like the puzzle of deciding what I want to bring with me and like how it'll make the path go easier. Also, I'm playing on very easy, so anytime I come across the BTs, they're so easy to defeat. And I think that honestly is the unlock for me. Is I get to that first like kind of pseudo boss battle where you're fighting the like squid or whatever, and it took me like 3 grenades to finish it, and it was like, okay, great, now I can move on and keep going to the thing. But I'm excited now for 2 even more. I don't know that I'm going to be able to finish 1 before 2. I'm going to try. But now that I've heard just so much about how they've upgraded combat and they've added so much to the systems, I'm like, yo, this game could be an all-timer, Maury.
Bro, I feel the same. And I'm going to circle back around to that thought in a second. The first thing I want to say is that you're a normal, sane person, because as someone who loves Death Stranding, has a BB up behind me. I've said this before on the show. It wasn't until my 3rd time a year and a half ago playing Death Stranding that it finally clicked. You know what I mean? That first 30 to 45 is fucking purgatory. Like, there is something about it.
It's so tough.
Bro, it's like it's nothing you've ever played before. It's just so bizarre. It's like I'm a delivery man. It felt like a job. Like same thing with FBC Firebreak. And it's not until you get to that, for me, it was like the 2-3 hour mark that I totally understood it. Something so weird about DS2 though is Kojima came out publicly. He's such a weird motherfucker, and he's like, "Yeah, people were liking it too much, so like I made the game shittier over the last couple months." What the fuck's wrong with you?
We'll talk about that in the news spotlight at the end of the show. Fucking unreal. But I don't know. I think for me, another thing that was such a huge barrier was how much, like Sears in the chat says, the tutorial is difficult to get through if you're not meeting the game on its own terms. And I think what the game does fucking awfully is explain its systems.
Yes.
And it's like there's just so much in this game, and it's like at one point I've unlocked the ability to fast travel, to fragile jump
Fragile Express, some
bullshit, but I can't even figure out how to fucking do it. And I had to go to Google and be like, how do I jump with Fragile on the Fragile Express? And it's like, oh, I have to go to my private room to do it. It's like there's so many things like that where like the game just does such a shitty job of telling you, or it tells you, but it tells you in so much fucking text. I'm not reading that. No. Like, so I'm not following your own instructions because you're giving me too many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm having a great time with it. I'm struggling going between Death Stranding and Fantasy Life right now because both of them, they're so different. Like they couldn't be more different. They scratch such a different itch, but I want to be playing them both simultaneously, and that's not possible quite yet.
Dude, I just love that you've rejoined, that you've ignited the efforts to enjoy Death Stranding. Yeah, dude, I'm excited because we'll be there day one for DS2. I'm sure we'll have thoughts here on Drop and Drop Out.
Here, Drop and Drop Out. Spotlight Games. It's gonna be fucking everywhere. Jake, are you gonna play at DS2?
I might jump in raw. Like I feel like I'm really caught between knowing that I'm doing myself a disservice because I played like 5 hours of Death Stranding 1, like much like you guys, for like the second or third time a month and a half ago. And it clicked for me. I was like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. And I do have some FOMO on Death Stranding 2. And with the improvements, it does feel like something that's going to be so hard in the zeitgeist that I'd like to get in there and see how weird it is and see how it controls and see if it grabs me even further. But truth be told, if I didn't have the time for DS1, I shouldn't make time for DS2 until I can make time for that.
Sure.
So I might hold off as well. I really don't know. But I do love to see Patrick out here playing on very easy and skipping text, baby. A game after my own heart.
Yeah, you've corrupted me in your own special way. Gentlemen, what do you say we get into the news?
My body's ready.
Yeah, the body's ready. Xbox today announced a deal with AMD, a multi-year agreement to create chips for its future devices, which it says will not be tied to a single store or device. The news was shared in a brief video published on Tuesday in which Xbox president Sarabon pledged to deliver, quote, deeper visual quality, immersive gameplay, and AI-powered experiences, end quote. Fucking AI-powered experiences. Everybody wants to get in on AI. However, this is an AI that makes sense to me. We'll get to it. AMD chips power the current Xbox Series console, as well as the upcoming Xbox-branded portable PC, the Xbox ROG Ally. The latter runs on a new Xbox UI on top of Windows, allowing users to access other game stores, such as Steam. It's possible Xbox's other future devices will adopt a similar approach, with Bond stating that its Microsoft's gaming arm is working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. Couple other things she says in the video that they've established. We've already covered the multi-year agreement. They're delivering deeper visual quality, immersive gameplay, AI-powered experiences grounded in a platform designed for players, not tied to a single store device, and fully compatible with your existing Xbox library. At Xbox, our vision is for you to play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want. That's why we're investing in our next generation hardware lineup across console, handheld, PC, cloud, and accessories. It's all about building you a gaming platform that's always with you so you can play the games you want across any device you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked. Man, how many times can they say a single store or device in this fucking article? But we get it, that they're partnering with AMD to get a more powerful chip so that the Xbox Play Anywhere can really kind of unlock, it seems. Jake, what's your take on this so far?
I've been saying for a little while now that Xbox is going to win the console war. Like, I feel like the end is in sight for everybody else. I think Nintendo will probably stay on its own and do its own thing for a very long time and probably outlast. But this just seems like Xbox is future-proofing themselves in such a big way already that I don't see a world where this fails. With the power of Game Pass, with the platform of Windows is really like the smart thing to kind of pivot to and integrate here. Because if you have a machine that can use all of these storefronts and all of these different places where you are collecting your games digitally now at this point, you can basically outmaneuver anybody else that has access to that, because there's always going to be some general favorability from like a Steam machine is going to play Steam games, and it's going to be a little bit of a hassle and more of a jump to get your Epic games working on there and putting some backdoor stuff on there. And if Microsoft just aligns Xbox even closer again with Windows and makes these a more versatile machine that can do whatever you want it to do, game your way, and then alongside it makes Xbox the easiest and most cost-effective way to obtain new stuff going forward. I think they just dominate, especially because you can get handheld software, or handheld hardware, you can get a console, you can play in a fucking web browser. Everything's an Xbox.
Yeah, when I first watched the video, my first thought was PlayStation's got to be shaking in their fucking boots right now. More, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Jake has said. I mean, through and through, not even just on this episode, but in general about Xbox. And that's that the approach that they've taken by finally saying, yo, we're not committed to shit but Game Pass. Like that's what we're committed to. That's where we're putting all of our resources. We're trying to get that everywhere we can. That's our platform. Our platform is a base monthly price where the Netflix of games, like whatever, that works. That's a brilliant idea. But like this announcement does nothing for me because I know that Xbox Series X sitting over there is the last piece of Xbox hardware I'm ever going to buy, because it's just going to be cheaper for me to move my Game Pass over to PC at the end of this generation. The truth is that I think most players this generation that went out and bought an Xbox were the Xbox diehards, the people that were like, oh, I can't live without my Halos. Oh, I can't live without my Gears, whatever. And those days are over now. So I don't know that like this piece of hardware is all that exciting. I think Xbox's general vision for the future going forward is, though. But yeah, I don't give a shit what you put in the box, because I imagine that still at the end of the day, that box now, because it's going to have to be a PC on top of being an Xbox, is going to be pretty expensive. And at that point, why would I not just buy a gaming PC that's going to do everything maybe a little bit better for a little bit more, that I can also like open up a Microsoft Word fucking document on as well? You know, like,
Sure.
I don't see the use case scenario for this. I think they're just making sure they have something that you can buy if you're like, I'm not ready to give up console gaming yet. I don't think that most people are going to do that. I'm not one of those people that will. Yeah.
I don't know that I agree that with you saying most people won't do that. I think so. Their brand loyalty is a real fucking thing. Like, and I think Xbox is going to keep releasing Xbox consoles until it no longer makes sense for them to do so, because of the market not funding it. So I would be willing to bet, because I think in the article it goes on to say that the last we've heard is that Xbox is targeting a 2028 release for their next console. That was based on the leaked documents from the FTC stuff back in 2023. That was 2 years ago. Things could have changed. Maybe we see Xbox next year. Maybe we don't see it until 2029 or later. But I think ultimately they would be silly to not continue making consoles, and I think they will. And I think in a way, I almost feel like they are trying to pivot even more to the casual gamer, to be like, because like I think of somebody who just plays Call of Duty or Madden or a mixture of both, and like the occasional like, oh, randomly Sifu caught their eye because it was on Game Pass, like that kind of gamer. All of a sudden, you can have an Xbox to play all your games on. You could also play them on your phone. You can also, like Jake was saying, on your browser, as long as they can teach the consumer that. I feel like it's kind of silly for someone who doesn't play more than a couple games a year to go into the Xbox ecosystem at that point. And I think that's probably what they're banking on, but I don't know. Time will tell, but I think there's definitely a lot here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I definitely agree. I think that no matter what, that gamer does get into the Xbox ecosystem. I just don't know that they see the $1,500 Xbox on the shelf and are like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, because presumably by that point, the marketing will have been so great of everything is an Xbox that they know they can play fucking Call of Duty on the fridge. You don't have to spend $1,500 to play it, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that, I mean, this has been like a thought for a very long time, and I'm not the first person to bring this up, probably even on our like podcast network, but definitely not in general. But the idea of, we've clowned the Xbox Series S and Series X for so long, but in reality, it is a pretty forward take in a future thinking way to market your consoles as two different ways to play the same stuff with different like power levels, if you will. And I think what we're going to see is a more cell phone style approach to gaming in the future, in that when you buy an iPhone, what are we at, 16s or 17s right now? 16 Pro. Right. You can play basically everything that comes out. And that 16 Pro will be able to play everything that comes out for the next few years. Then eventually, if you don't upgrade your phone, you're going to get to that point where you go to install the brand new app that your friends are playing, and it's going to say, this is not available on your device. You're going to have to go back and look for another iPhone and start thinking about upgrading. And with the Xbox Series S and X, they really already kind of piloted this with the Xbox One and the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, because those all used the same exact digital library as well. And I know that you can say the same thing for PlayStation 4 and 5 here, very similarly. And then, of course, PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro is even perhaps a better look at it right now from the PlayStation side of things. But further on, I think it's going to be different levels to investment of how we get people in. So yes, that kid won't look at that $1,500 Xbox and say, that's where I need to be. But if that kid can get their foot in the door in the Xbox ecosystem and start upping their gamer score by playing on their fucking iPad when they're 8 years old with Minecraft and all of their friends, and then they grow up and the Xbox Series X is available for fucking whatever, $149, they might say, I want this for my birthday, or I want this for my, Christmas present, and grow up and want to stay on that Xbox platform. And then it'll be a question of like, how nice of an Xbox can I afford, because I want to play it as best as I can. So
yeah,
I see the future there.
Yeah, I do too. And I also, Sirius in the chat was saying, how many people play on a desktop or console on their TV versus portable? Like for the Switch, isn't it like 95% never dock to their TV? Portable is a huge market. I don't know if that stat is accurate, but I do think portable, I'm surprised it took them this long to get into portable. But I think the way they're doing it is so smart. Even though the ROG Ally, I think, is going to cost probably close to $1,000. For people that have that income or are willing to save for that, it's going to be such a better experience than even the Steam Deck. Because on a Steam Deck, you have to stream it. You can't play it natively. So being able to play it natively on the ROG Ally, I think, is going to be so strong for them. And it's something that, like, I think I'll eventually want to try to get into if I can afford it, because I love playing portably. And if I can get a better experience playing my Xbox games portably on that device than a different device, maybe that's why I don't get a Steam Deck too. Maybe I get the Xbox ROG Ally instead. I don't know. But it's very good of them, I think, to be making me ask myself this question. I think they're already succeeding in that way, which is, for so long, this podcast, every other podcast, is like, when is Xbox going to fucking get it together? And it seems like they are getting it together, and it's good to see, I think.
Yeah.
Someone who's not getting it together, Maury, fucking Bungie. Brother, they can't fucking figure it out. Marathon has been officially delayed indefinitely. I'm pulling here from Paul Tassi at Forbes. In a somewhat expected but rather dire announcement, Bungie has emerged from the shadows to confirm that its upcoming shooter Marathon has been delayed indefinitely, as in we do not have a window as to when it's being released, now pushed out of its former September 23, 2025 release date. Here's an excerpt of what Bungie said in their announcement. Thank you not only for your passionate feedback around the Marathon reveal and alpha playtest, but also for your patience while we took the time to listen closely and chart our next steps. Through every comment and real-time conversation on social media and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken this to heart, and we know we need more time to craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. After much discussion within our dev team, we've made the decision to delay the September 23rd release. The move was widely, this is back to the article, the move was widely anticipated in the wake of an underwhelming gameplay reveal, leading to a mixed to bad reception for its closed alpha. On top of that, Bungie is currently auditing the entirety of Marathon for stolen art assets after an artist came forward to prove an alleged ex-employee from the studio had previously taken her work, which ended up in the game itself. Maury, is Bungie going to survive this, do you think?
Oh my God. Okay. I have so many thoughts. And I just don't want to be greedy, but at the same time, I put 40 hours into Marathon. I've been a Bungie diehard since I was a child. Okay. Like, I adore this company. I adore what they were. I'm going to open by just saying something a little bit broader about Sony and about the PlayStation 5 lifecycle. I'm fucking tired of one of your exclusive titles, of which you have very fucking few anymore that come out a year, either getting canceled, either getting fucking pushed back indefinitely, or getting shut down after 2 fucking weeks. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm fucking exhausted. This has been a completely lost generation due to this live service push. last year, one of PlayStation's only exclusives that came out from a first-party studio was Concord, shut down 2 weeks later. Now this year, the way they were going to fill out their first-party year on top of Death Stranding 2 isn't even first-party. So what the fuck are we even talking about? So you had Ghost of Yotei and Marathon. Now you only have Ghost of Yotei. I mean, you own so many fucking talented developers and studios, and you cannot utilize them for shit. Now, we're going to talk about Bungie. And the buck stops here with Bungie. Bungie is maybe the worst purchase that Sony has ever made. There have been people that have said that before me. There will be people that will say it long after me. But it may be the worst purchase they've ever made. By the time that they got a hold of Bungie, it was with the hopes that Bungie could get these other studios that hadn't previously made live service games to make something that would be substantial and important and be able to bring in a fan base. Bungie has not been able to do that for anything. Not even fucking Last of Us Factions.
Yeah.
When you look at like the use case scenario of Bungie, which is prepping Sony, prepping PlayStation, right, as a giant company for live service, and they've bombed every fucking time, that's already a fucking problem. But now you can't even deliver on the fucking titles that you're known for. I mean, look at the Final Shape. Look at those sales. Their numbers are in the fucking dirt. And I've been saying this now for a year, and that's that Marathon is the only thing that can save Bungie. And by the time the alpha came around and we saw the general reception to the title, it was very clear that Marathon not only wasn't going to do that, but now we have to wait another year to find out if it can. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even get to see Bungie fucking crash and burn off of the shit that they made. We now have to wait another fucking year. I mean, it was just bad news after bad news after bad news. Getting out of that alpha, you know, I sent in a lot of feedback to Bungie. I had a lot to say. Frankly, I enjoyed my 30 hours. Do I think it was going to be the game that was going to take up my live service slot in my life? No, I didn't. But I did like the bare bones of what I played. To see everyone else's reception be pretty subpar, which I understood, was one thing. Then to find out that you have to go now and scrub through your whole fucking game and find what was stolen from another artist is abysmal. I mean, just every decision has just been abysmal.
The crazier part to me, though, it's like they put stock in that AI art thing, or not the AI art, sorry, the stolen art thing. But it's like, for me, my bigger concern is, what are you delaying it for? Like, it's so unclear that, like, are you adding modes? Are you adding a campaign? Are you like investigating a free-to-play model? Like, they're just like, yeah, it's not going to release this September. We'll give you a date in the fall. Bullshit. I don't buy that. I do not think that we're getting a date this fall.
No. Do you want to know why they didn't give you any clarification, Patrick? Because they don't know what's wrong with the fucking game.
Yeah.
This is what's so weird about live service, is that sometimes it just fucking hits. It's literally a lottery. Like, a lot of times it's a lottery. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, but so often it feels like a lottery ticket. I don't think they know what's wrong with it. I think that no matter what, right, they now need an indefinite amount of time to scrub through that game and get rid of all that art that was stolen, right? Because you don't want that to happen a third time. It happened once with Destiny. It happened now with Marathon. You don't want your next fucking closed alpha having people coming out of it saying, oh, I recognize that asset because I fucking made it. Like, you can't have that happen a third time. Correct. So they have to go scrub the whole fucking game. And then after that, you have to sit there and say, okay, now that we've handled that huge fucking issue, no one likes the fucking game. How do we rebuild a game that no one fucking likes? Like, there's no telling how long this will take. I think that no matter what, I don't know if Marathon comes out. I hope it does. Like, I would love to see what they do with it. I would love to see where they take it. But at the end of the day, Marathon will be the nail in Bungie's coffin. Like, it will be the thing that shuts them down forever. There's nothing else.
Feels like it. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Dude, we're beating a fucking dead horse on Bungie, dude. They're the punching bag of the industry right now. And ever since this acquisition have been, the easiest punchline in the world is that Bungie was hired to help with live service games for one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and they can't even run their own live service game, much less games. And it's pretty fucking cut and dry from there. Like, they should be embarrassed. It's bad.
Yeah, they should be. And like, I even wonder, like, no telling how much they've invested into Marathon, both from Bungie and from PlayStation Studios. Like, I'm sure it is hundreds of millions of dollars, at least 200 million, I would assume. But like, at what point do they just don't do it anymore? Like, I feel like, to your point, Maury, of like the fact that the alpha didn't hit really at all, I think already in a way is a nail in the coffin. And then also, you think about just gamers and how now that people don't like Marathon, and now that Marathon has a target, there is 65% of the gaming ecosystem that game has no chance for. They already hate it because it's the thing to hate now. And not even like for Concord reasons, just like, oh, Marathon's bad. I just agree now. So no matter anytime someone's gonna come out, oh, dead game, you should cancel it. So it's like there's no hope for this game, even if it is somehow fucking great. So it's like, no, do you just cut your losses? Save another $50 million that you might invest trying to right the ship and just put that toward the next thing that's not a live fucking service game?
Dude, because this is the problem, because off rip, right? I mean, Bungie was already trying to appeal to such a niche audience. I mean, like the extraction shooter genre is big in like one fucking game. There's like 2 fucking extraction shooters that anybody plays. It's a small community in light of like the broader gaming audience. You tried to appeal to them. The vast majority of gamers just don't want to play your fucking game. Those people have already put 6-7 years into whatever their extraction shooter is, and they're not about to switch over to something that everyone else says is mediocre. Like, you were already appealing to such a small base. And like on top of that, even the Bungie diehards, the people that stay with Destiny all these years, it's not hard to tell that when Bungie neglects PvP for a fucking decade, that most of their players are into the PvE side of Destiny and not the PvP side of Destiny. And now you have made a game completely and utterly focused on PvP, which I'm very excited about as someone who loved Bungie PvP, but you've just alienated the only audience that you maybe could have captured, because you made a game they don't want, and they told you that, and you agreed with them for a decade. You didn't ever improve PvP in Destiny, because you knew no one wanted it. I mean, it is astounding the amount of bad decisions that have been. I mean, it is a million bad decisions. I don't know.
Do you think there is a chance that they push it, let's just say a year and a half, to try to make a PvE mode or a campaign of something? Or do you think it's just...
You can't do that. Yeah. Like that's a 4-year project. I mean, we've seen other companies that have that we said this about. Oh, they should just go make a PvE mode or a story or whatever. And devs will come out like after the studio gets shut down and they're like, hey, just so you know, that would have taken us another 4 years because that's a completely different game.
Yeah.
Like,
so
there's no, like, the only thing you can do now, I really do believe, is I think you can go back through. I think you can get rid of all those art assets that you stole. I think maybe you can expand upon the PvP in some way. Maybe you can add another mode, whatever. But I think that all this goes back to like the core problem. And that's like, we always talk about the ship of Theseus, right? Is it the same fucking Bungie that it was 2 decades ago? Of course not. Bungie were the innovators. That's what they were. They redefined arena fucking multiplayer FPS shooters. Like, they did that. And now they're chasing a fucking trend in extraction shooters that's already blown past them. They're no longer the innovators, and that's why we keep running into these fucking problems, I think, is that you're trying to build on something that already exists really well somewhere over there, and you don't have any experience with it. There's no reason that you would be able to make a great extraction shooter. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I don't expect the higher ups at Sony to not see some kind of shakeup from this. Like, there's no way that, I don't know if, obviously I don't like wish for anyone to lose their job per se, but like, I don't know. I don't see how like Herman Hulst can stay in his position for much longer. And when it's just been bad news after bad news after bad news.
Already out. Herman Hulst doesn't have his position anymore. Fucking, didn't he get demoted from co-CEO down to
did he?
Yeah,
something like that?
He's still the head of PlayStation Studios, and he still operates in the capacity of having control over PlayStation Studios, but he's no longer got the he still does the same shit, but his title is different.
Jim Ryan is a year plus removed from this company with still questionable circumstances around his departure as well, who was responsible for this acquisition in the first place, really.
Yeah.
I think that we're seeing it, but I don't know, we're in this like shitty cycle of like, we are living in both like the best time to be video game fans and the worst time to be video game fans, where we have these crazy development costs and time that are not sustainable, and the only way that you can sustain the quality that people have come to expect is by making them games as a service. But if you make a game as a service explicitly, it usually doesn't hit. It's games that are popular in their own right. Like I think of like the most popular games as a service, like Fortnite is maybe the outlier. Apex launched pretty well with that model, but you look at these like games plans and they were serviceable, but they were not the crazy Fortnite-esque like collaboration things that we've come to expect now over these last couple of years. But then you look at games like Minecraft and Roblox that initially were just sandbox games that are now heavily monetized. I feel like that is the actual pipeline for the next successful game as a service. I don't think it's these people trying to create this game as a service culture. Make a game that people want to play really badly all the time and desire more of, and then expand your team and get more of it going. And I've seen them fumble this time and time again.
Yeah.
Well, a game that people really want to play and see more of, Donkey Kong Bonanza. We're getting a direct. If you're listening live, for those of you that are here, we're getting a direct in the morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time.
12 hours from now.
12 hours from now. And if you're, oh, exactly. How about that? And if you're listening later, head on over to YouTube. It's probably already up now. But we can kind of go through this one pretty quickly. You know, it's like a direct focusing on one game, but it's at the moment the biggest game of Nintendo's stable that's about to come out. It's, I think, the only like huge first party game with a date right now, because we're still waiting on a few from like Kirby and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So Jake, I want to start with you as one of our resident Nintendo sickos. I think a lot of people in the audience don't look at me as that, but I'm trying to rebrand myself a little bit because I've always been a bit of a Nintendo sicko. But Jake, what do you hope to see from this? What? Because we're already in, like, we've pre-ordered the game probably already. But what do you hope to see tomorrow?
I need the X factor. I've talked about this time and time again, but this is going to be the big reveal. Tomorrow, we will know something about Donkey Kong Bonanza that is extremely significant versus what we knew about it today. And I don't mean what we got out of the Mario Kart Direct. We all tuned into that Mario Kart Direct and we learned more of the same. Maybe we learned that like Wiggler is playable, or there's a Wario Stadium 64 remake, right? Like that's in there.
Wiggler playable?
I don't know. But I feel like tomorrow we're going to learn whatever the X factor is. And I say that because this is pretty blatantly the Mario Odyssey team. And if we look, we only have a single trailer so far for Donkey Kong Bonanza, the announcement trailer. And there's been hands-on, and they've showed that first like opening scene and level quite a bit at the Nintendo Treehouse, but there's only been one released trailer. You Google Donkey Kong Bonanza trailer, it's a single result. And if you Google Super Mario Odyssey reveal trailer, watch that. Give that a watch and tell me what's missing. It's 3 minutes long. It shows unbelievable environments and a wide variety of gameplay. And at the very end, they tease Mario throwing his cap and that cap having eyes. For the remainder of those 3 minutes that came prior, you do not see a single hat throw. You do not see a single transformation, which is the entire mechanic in that video game. Like, that is all based around Cappy and transforming into a T-Rex or a Goomba or a Koopa or whatever other item you're going to transform into that game. And I think that there is some big missing piece of Donkey Kong Bonanza that is going to be revealed tomorrow.
So if Mario Odyssey's second trailer revealed him slinging Cap, any chance that tomorrow reveals Donkey Kong slinging that dick, Maury?
Wow.
Big dick slanging Donkey Kong Bonanza. Can I get an amen, brother?
Amen, brother. They call him FYBJ Big Donkey Kong for a reason.
Yeah, there we go.
He's packing that schmeat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm excited about. I mean, this is a game I'm going to pick up in a year when I finally get my Switch 2. Obviously, if it's the Odyssey team, there's something really promising there. I really hope that what Jake's saying is true. I hope that the mechanic isn't that we dig. Like, I hope that there's something really exciting and fucking awesome that like revolutionizes this. And I hope it doesn't kind of do what Mario Kart did, which is just where it shows you everything it does and then kind of just repeats what it was going to do at the next time it was shown. I hope we get something exciting. I have something to look forward to in a year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit.
For me, it's the kind of thing where it's like, I wonder if we get like a story pitch of like, in Donkey Kong Bonanza, you're going to be Nintendo's favorite ape going around doing this and that for the fucking, what do they call it? The Shivering Isle. It's something Isle.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. No, that's from Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, I believe. Jake, what's the chances we see Diddy Kong tomorrow?
High.
You think high?
I think that could be the X factor, is like playable characters added to the game. I think. Well, I know that there's a big Donkey Kong like digging mechanic that is integral to the vast majority of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of like transformation aspect where you might rotate between like a Diddy and a Dixie and stuff like that. I know that Diddy got a very light redesign and a new render alongside Donkey's redesign like a month or two ago, which I think is very interesting. It's much less of a adjustment, but you can see visual differences. You can tell that it's a new render for sure. And then I think that there's a chance, hear me out. There are only 3 first-party Nintendo 64 games that are not currently available on Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Those games: Super Smash Brothers 64, the best Smash Brothers, Diddy Kong Racing, and Donkey Kong 64. I think it would be a really good opportunity to shadow drop Donkey Kong 64 that people have been waiting on forever. They have the agreement with Rare already based off of the presence of Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Perfect Dark all on there. GoldenEye, maybe that's not on there. There's some weird stuff, but I think for all intents and purposes, it's fucking time. I don't know if not now, then when? A month before, build some hype, get some people talking Donkey.
Yeah, I go back and forth really quick, Maury. I go back and forth on whether tomorrow is really truly only Donkey Kong Bonanza, or if they sprinkle in something. And if they sprinkle in something, it will be Donkey Kong related. They wouldn't bring something non-Donkey Kong. So Donkey Kong 64 is an interesting option for sure. I would love that, but I personally, I kind of feel like they mostly just stick to the script of Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I hope I'm wrong. Maury, what do you got?
Well, I was just gonna say, Jake kept bringing up, Diddy being in the game. I didn't know that they let Diddy out of prison to reprise his role here. I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked they let him reprise it. I'm so sorry. I was so fucking giddy to make that joke.
Giddy Kong.
My other a little guess is that if it's not different characters that you're transforming into or tagging into or switching to, then maybe some of the classic like Rambi, the Rhino, could be in there. That could be a nice thing to add. Like maybe there's a partnership system of some sort, or you can get assorted mounts and stuff like that. Squawky. I don't know. I remember his name, but the little bird. Like there's some pretty iconic ones. The swordfish is a really good one as well. There's a history of creatures from the Donkey Kong universe that I think could be integrated.
I think for me, I think a slam dunk is we get a lot more info on what is this purple rock. Sirius in the chat says purple rock character, very mysterious. I bet that is a lion's share of tomorrow's, whatever that is and whatever system that brings. I bet we see that a lot.
Yep.
Last question about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Do you think when the Kongs are just like hanging out, is it like, hey, Donkey, come over here, hey, Diddy, come over here, or do you think it's it's always Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong? Because I feel like I can't accept Donkey Kong being referred to as Donkey.
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel right to me.
It is a little weird, but I got a question for you. Can I fire it back?
Yeah.
You know this like 1 versus 100.
Oh my god.
Thing.
Oh my god.
Okay, do you think you could 1v1 Donk in a fight?
Absolutely not. None of us could.
No,
I
could.
No,
I could for sure.
I don't think
you want to hear my strategy?
This fucking guy.
I approach Donkey Kong very, very calmly, hands out. I'm just hanging out. Maybe I'll let Donkey Kong come to me. Hidden knife in my jeans, right? Donkey Kong comes to me. I start jerking Donkey Kong off. He lets his guard down, right? And then right when Donkey Kong is his most feeble, most relaxed, most unassuming of any sort of treachery, slit Donkey Kong's throat.
Wow. So let me just get this straight. Let me kind of throw this back at you after you threw it back at me. You're gonna jerk him off until you slit his throat. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I killed Donkey Kong.
I think Donkey Kong sees that coming a mile away. I think somebody has tried giving him the old jerk slit before.
Yeah. Tug.
You might be right.
Yeah, he's gotten a couple tugs. Okay.
Yeah. God damn.
Man.
169.
I mean, here's my pitch. Maybe I put on a little Donkey Kong costume. Maybe we try it out. You and me, Jake. Is that breaking TOS? I hope not.
I don't think so.
Let's wrap up tonight's show with a little news spotlight. This is when we go around the industry, grab some quick hits, some quick news stories that maybe wouldn't take up an entire topic, but are still interesting. This one, Jake, I'm so interested to see if you heard about this. There's a hidden mini game in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart that has been revealed. Have you heard about this?
No.
So there was some like developer conversation happening. Some senior developer at Insomniac was like doing he was like playing the game while talking to somebody. And it's like, oh yeah, here's something that I don't think ever, like no one has found. Some world that you're in later in the game as Rivet, you can go to there's like a mechanical bull in this like bar. And apparently if you shoot the outside door and like various numbers on either side, you unlock the ability to play the Riding Bull mini game in the game. And he said no one has found it before. So he showed off like the little mini game. So might be fun little stream for Jake to just pop into Rift Apart real fast, play a little bull
Rift
riding.
Apart is famously the first and only, well, at that time it was my first and only game that I ever platinumed, that I ever 100%ed. I saw everything that game had to offer. It made me interested in platinuming games. The next one I did was Astrobot. I did Tinykin, or Astro's Playroom, then Tinykin, and then I did Astrobot most recently. I also 100% in Spyro 1, but that's a weird platinum.
Sure.
It's neither here nor there. But I am very interested. I would love to, because I do feel like I have seen everything that game had to offer. It was the first time I played a game and I was unsatisfied, or so satisfied that I was like, I don't want this experience to end. I want to do a couple more things. And it was a very easy platinum, I think, by most people's recollection.
I platinumed that game as well. And I'm sure Maury did too.
I did.
3 platinums. How about that?
Is Rivet hot?
I personally don't think so. However, I'm not here.
God damn it.
Oh, I fucking hate this guy. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater coming out in August. They've revealed their online mode as basically hide and seek. Any interest from the chat, from the panel?
I'll do it for the trophies.
Hell yeah. I'm interested to learn more. Like I was trying to learn more, and the write-up on this has very little about it, but from what I gathered, it sounds like it's hide and seek. It's like, we'll see if that's interesting, but it could be fun with like specifically with friends. I feel like playing hide and seek with strangers is when gamer words start happening, and I don't want to be a part of that at all. Summer Game Fest has reported its highest viewership to date. They're up 89% year over year with more than 50 million viewers. Just think, next year when their fucking showcase isn't dog shit, if they see that return again, god damn.
Oh man.
Also, speaking of records, Switch 2 set an all-time launch record. The previous best-selling console in history was the PS4 with 1.1 million in its first week. Switch 2 sold 3.5 million in 4 days.
Whoa. That's actually unfathomable that in this economic climate they tripled the previous record. That's unfathomable.
More than. And it's like so there have been like conversations like, oh, does this mean that it's going to pass Switch 1, which is like one of the best selling, it's like in the short list of best selling consoles.
It will be.
I don't think it will. I think this is more so just the state of the industry right now, that I think Switch 2 just launched at a great time of like, there's not been much new hardware there. And like, there's just this, the exciting new thing. And Nintendo has its sickos, like High Score Weekly, not in the chat today, but I like the people like him, like us, like me and you, Jake, we're going to buy a Switch console or a new Nintendo console day one, regardless. But I mean, more than triple the record and almost half the time too.
Crazy.
4 days instead of 7.
Crazy. I think right now the Nintendo Switch is the second best selling console of all time, because for some reason they last reported on Nintendo or PlayStation 2 sales in like 2014, and then in like 2024 they reported sales again and it was like up 4 million. Like, you didn't sell 4 million brand new PS2s, but I guess there's more accurate accounts of who's there. But it's the second best selling, and it will be the best selling console of all time. And I don't think the Switch 2 takes that crown from it, but I bet the Switch something does. Nintendo has done the impossible, and they've had 2 home console successes in a row, which they have not done since the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64. It's been in every other situation for them, and they found the formula, or remembered the formula that they had with the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, is just to keep that ecosystem going. And I think that we will probably see another 20 years of subsequent Switches, Switch 3, Switch 4, they'll call it different things. They'll have new features and stuff like that. But I think that is the platform that goes forward. And I bet a Switch will be the number one best-selling console for a very long time.
I buy that for sure. It's it's the one unique system in the mainstream ecosystem of console gaming. Why change that? It's working. So that's a good call. I hadn't thought of it that way. I like that. Oh yeah.
Can I show this off real quick?
Yes,
this is tangentially related. I was sponsored. We talked about it on last week's episode of the show. It's Bravely Default Flying Fairy. They sponsored a copy, sent out a code for both myself and Drop In Drop Out. And for doing the sponsored stream and playing it and showcasing it, they sent over this really nice postcard with this unbelievable, really sweet message, and then a bunch of the artists and producers, and then Asano, the lead of, I think it was Creative Business Unit 5. I'm not sure what they're going by under Square anymore, but Asano's Team Asano, as they're referred to, all signed it and put these beautiful little doodles on it. Very, very cool. Bravely Default has something fresh and unrefined that you won't find in the likes of Octopath Traveler or Triangle Strategy. It thrills me to know that you're able to enjoy it. But very sweet of them, and a really cool little package for the Drop In Drop Out family.
That's very cool.
That's fucking awesome. That's
really sweet.
Just the fact that they took the time to go in there and doodle, dude, fuck, that's awesome. That's
it's really sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been on the fence of getting Bravely Default, but that's the kind of thing was fuck yeah, I'm gonna go buy that game now.
Yeah,
because I've been wanting to play it. I've been hearing great things from you and Cog and people who weren't given codes. So it's you know what? That's awesome. I love that little personal touch. They didn't need to do that. They just got a customer out of me.
Honestly, that is Asano and that team over there it has been for some time now, is one to watch, where Bravely Default was really their coming out party. He is for Square Enix a pretty young gentleman. He's in his mid 40s, I think. And I can see him going on to do some pretty important stuff. I mean, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 and Triangle Strategy are bangers. They just finished executive producing at least Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, and they're working on 1 and 2 HD 2D. Live Alive before that. I mean, if there's going to be a Chrono Trigger in that style, I assume it would go to them. Sure. And if they, have the success that it seems like they've been piloting, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the team that got the keys to the fucking Chrono franchise to do something in the future. I feel like Asano is on the path right now.
Yeah.
To do something really special.
Do we know what they're working on next?
Just they're doing the 1 and 2 HD 2D remake for Dragon Quest, but that is not their main thing. He is the executive producer on 3 HD 2D and 1 and 2 HD 2D, but he was the actual producer on Live Alive remake, Triangle Strategy, Bravely Default 2, and Octopath Traveler 2. But I mean, there's probably multiple buns in the oven. I'm not sure what it looks like with Square Enix's restructuring, because some of the games that they've worked on, Various Day Life and Bravely Second, are probably those types of games that are now not being looked at to be made all that often.
Sure.
So, with Square Enix's realigning of we focus on Final Fantasy, we focus on Octopath, we focus on Dragon Quest, we focus on Kingdom Hearts, and just sticking to those big franchises, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a beloved entry in a big franchise soon, I guess is what I would guess. Octopath Traveler 3, or a new Dragon Quest, or a Chrono Trigger, or some spin-off of Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy.
Hell yeah. A few more before we go home. This was what Maury brought up earlier. DS2 changed because it wasn't polarizing enough. I have a bit of this story here. Apparently playtesting about halfway through the game, the feedback was too positive for Kojima. So he said he had to change things to be more polarizing and spark more emotion and anger. He said, quote, "If everyone likes it, it means it's mainstream. It means it's conventional. It means it's pre-digested for people to like it. And I don't want that."
Okay. I'm going to say this. I've said this before. Kojima is brilliant. he's not as brilliant as he thinks he is.
No, they never are.
I've said this a lot of times, but the fact that, like, bro, I cannot imagine, right? You've been working on this game for the last 5 years. It's the only thing we're going to see from you for another 5 years. And everyone loves it. And you're like, no, naughty. You cannot all enjoy the game. It's mainstream now. It's not niche enough. Everyone needs to give it a 73 on Metacritic like they gave the first Death Stranding. What the fuck are we talking about, dude? That is the wildest announcement I've ever heard. Everyone loves my game. I purposefully made it more polarizing.
And halfway through the game, too. So it's like things were still being cooked in so many ways. And he's like, nah. It's as if, I don't know, 3 months later, 6 months, 9 months later, more playtesting could have happened and be like, hey, actually, this is dog shit. Like, it's crazy to do that, but we'll see. Last couple, RDR2 tease from the Arthur Morgan voice actor, first John Marston's actor, and now Arthur Morgan's. They're saying that they know something about Red Dead Redemption 2. It seems like most people think it's either a Switch 2 announcement or just like a general current gen patch, because it never got that. Jake, have you heard about this? Any thoughts on this?
Same rumblings. I've heard some shenanigans about Red Dead Redemption 2, and I've been hearing about, like, I don't know, every time this Nintendo Direct comes up of like, is there going to be a summer direct like there usually is? I get both conflicting reports. I've got more ammo to think like, oh, that would be a perfect place to bring it up, would be at a Nintendo Direct, and then they're like, also, here's a fucking announcement of Splatoon Raiders and a Splatoon 3 update. And I'm like, okay, so that's not happening. And then I hear another report of Red Dead Redemption 2, possibly for Nintendo Switch 2. And it's like, well, here's a Donkey Kong Direct. I'm like, okay, what you have the most jam-packed fucking summer direct planned for the end of June that you can't squeeze in Donkey Kong and Splatoon? I find that hard to believe. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if we actually get it there at this point.
I don't think we're going to get a summer direct, it seems.
Yeah. That's what I'm starting to think. So.
Yeah. And then last one, because apparently this industry has turned into, we just have to report the price of every game. Borderlands won't cost $80 after all. So you guys can pay $70 for mediocre bullshit. And that's your choice.
Anything. Yeah, I wasn't going to pay anything. So yeah, I'm saved. I was saved before you even told me.
Yeah. Before we go home, shout out to Cognitive Clips. Shout out to the Chike Games podcast, both resubscribing. Cog for 17 months. He probably holds the longest reign of a subscriber here at Spotlight Games. He says, my streak is 17, just like Jake's. Never mind.
Jesus fuck.
Catching some fucking strays in the fucking subscriber
the length of my dick.
Exactly.
Right.
17 feet.
Centimeters. I don't even know what the fucking unit of measurement
love a
that
centimeter.
Is. It's big. It's like,
folks,
that big.
I love it.
God damn it, Jake.
Folks, what a joyous return it has been for me and Spotlight Games. Thank you for being here. We had a great chat today. Shout out Cirrus, Noah, Heroic Edgar, Eula, Kayla, Rabbit. Almost got me to break TOS for him. That fucking, I tell you what. But we will be here again next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But if you want more of us before then, head on over to dropindropoutpod.com. Like I said at the top of the show, this Thursday, Jake and I are going to be talking about Mario Kart World, the things we want to see changed. If you head to our Discord, we will have a discussion thread leading into that episode where we'll read your thoughts, answer your questions, that kind of thing. So if that sounds like something you'd like, join the Discord, and we will see you on Thursday, twitch.tv/dropin-dropoutpod. Maury, do you have anything to plug before we leave?
Dropindropoutpod.com, baby. That's it.
Boom. JT?
Yeah, my fucking asshole for episode 169.
Oh,
vibration on. All right, y'all, that's our show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Until then,